Hello, 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 and welcome to People Talk Now. I'm your host, Vanessa Herrera, and this is the show where you ask about it and I talk about it. And let's not forget, you guys, that we are constantly, it seems, trying to change the pace out there on what people are calling better days. So yes, good morning, welcome, happy fucking Wednesday if I haven't said it already. And yeah, welcome to episode 68. That's right, episode 68. We have made it this far together, and I feel beyond happy. I feel beyond blessed and grateful that you guys are still here with me on the journey. I feel confidence. I feel just an overwhelming sense of gratitude for you guys being here, because I know that once before I started this was just like a dream, a thought, an aspiration, and now it's becoming into fruition, like it's becoming a reality for me. And yeah, like it just feels really good, you know? So based on that, I hope that you woke up today and that you're just ready to continue doing what you need to do for your life and to still crush the end of this year, like go out with a bang. And yeah, if you're watching this video right now, it probably means that Christmas is probably 2 days away. So Merry Christmas to you if we don't get to see each other before Christmas. Yeah, high five. So yes, I bet you guys are wondering, what are you talking about today, Vanessa? What are you talking about? Well, not to worry. I'm going to explain really quick. So I often get asked, how do I have the confidence that I have, right? How do I have this, like the self-esteem? How does one get self-esteem, right? If you don't have self-esteem, not to worry. I got you. You see, I wasn't always like this. I used to be a very shy, timid girl. I know, hard to believe. But I was. Sometimes I could be very closed off. Sometimes I could be very open. That's just part of my personality. Aquarius life. But the truth is that when I want something and when there's something that I need to get off my chest, well, I'm about to just regurgitate it right here on the camera. But so I wanted to share some of those things. I wanted to pretty much give you guys 25 killer actions that you can take today to get your self-confidence up and get yourself in that mode and to stop feeling like a Debbie Downer, to be feeling out, down and out, whatever that term is. I forget what that term is, but I'm pretty sure it's down and out. So yes, I definitely wanted to share this because this channel is definitely about the people. I always have the people in mind. Ever since I started this channel, I said I definitely wanted to interview people. I definitely wanted to just talk about things that are important, things to help people out and to be better people, you know, because essentially if I'm being a better person, if I'm growing and I'm learning things, chances are that I'm going to want to put that onto the world with people that I know, and those people are going to do that to those people. And so we're building a better world. Hence the term changing the pace on what people call better days. So that was a really long intro. I'm sorry. Let's get right into it. So, you know, like I said, I wasn't always like this. I was very closed off. I didn't really know how to express myself. So therefore, you know, growing up, obviously ended up in bad relationships that my self-esteem took a hit, and it took a hit bad, right? But why is it that not many of us are willing to admit when our self-esteem takes a hit? Like, why do we just try to brush it off and we act like everything's okay? And then people ask us, are you okay? And we're like, yeah, we're okay. Everything's great. When we're not okay. And it's okay. That's the thing that I've realized recently. So I started reading a book, and if you're watching this video, I'm probably already finished it. I'm not gonna lie. I read a book in probably less than 7 days. And I feel really happy about it. I feel really accomplished. I'm sure some of you guys have noticed some of the things that I posted on my social saying that I wasn't going to be available, because I realized something, that my energy, your energy, is very valuable. If you're here right now and you're watching this video, it's because you actually want to grow. There's something that you want to change for the better about yourself. No one's saying that you're going to be changed into a completely different person overnight. That's understandable. But I also realized that our energy is very important, and because of that, we have to value it. We have to take care of it. We have to nurture it. So on that note, this book has definitely helped open up my eyes. I had one of those eye-opening experiences that I'll, you know, probably maybe share with you guys either during this video or later on or in another video. But yeah, so that's definitely like a quick little backstory to, you know, all that. But like I said, I wasn't always like this, you know. It used to take like a whole army to get a couple words out of my mind or mouth. And I always had a lot to say. Therefore, that's why I became a writer, because I felt that was one of the easiest ways for me to express myself, because I lacked that confidence, because I had fear built up inside myself and many other things, which we'll talk about for a whole other podcast for another day when we get the tea out and we do the whole spiel on my life. But so yes, definitely one of the things that held me back from basically pursuing my dreams for many, many years was the fear of failure. You know, I was always afraid to fail. I always felt like if I don't do it, like I didn't want that feeling, that emotion that comes behind it, you know? And because I didn't have that, I lacked that self-confidence that I needed to overcome that fear, I kind of held it off for a while. And like I said, it doesn't, sometimes you can have it from a young age, you can get it, then you can lose it, or you can lose it from a young age and then get it as you're older, which is kind of something that happened to me. And there's nothing wrong with that. It doesn't matter when it comes. The fact is that as long as it arrives one day and you get to experience it, that's okay. One of the things I've been learning recently, before I dive into, you know, all the good juicy details, is that, you know, I had this whole mindset that it's not now, but there was a time when I had this mindset that if I was feeling a certain way about myself or anything, that basically it meant that I wasn't supposed to feel in it, and I would deny myself those feelings. But the more and more I started telling myself, just kind of like the same way that people do affirmations, and they say it over again until it becomes a reality, until you believe it. That's kind of one of the same things that I used to tell myself, and it took a long time for me to get to where I'm at now. I wasn't like this a year ago. I wasn't like this 2 years ago, 3 years ago. Every year I'm becoming better and better. And if you guys want to be on that same type of journey, I highly suggest that you sit tight and you wait, because I'm about to share some really good, insightful tips. So anyways, yes, I didn't always have that mindset where, you know, I was basically like, no, I shouldn't be feeling this way. It's, you know, why? No, I shouldn't. And then deep down afterwards, when I would have time to sit with my thoughts, I would say, why is it that I feel that I'm not supposed to be feeling these certain emotions, whether it be anger, whether it be frustration? Like, when you kind of start to say to yourself, it is absolutely normal for me to have these feelings, right? It's when you tell yourself otherwise, that you shouldn't be feeling none of the above, that it kind of takes a lot out of you, because you're suppressing a part of who you are, and it's just not healthy. And you have no room there to grow. You have no room. Little did I know in those times that a lot of the things that I was feeling during those times was actually me admitting to myself, like, yes, this is how I feel. Yes, I'm feeling this, whether it be anger, frustration, whether it be my confidence was low, or whether I was suffering from self-esteem issues. Was that after all of my past and previous relationships, the only thing that kind of got me out of that was telling myself it was absolutely normal for me to feel those things. And that's something that I kept repeating to myself over and over again. Because, see, when you say things to certain people, they tend to downplay it and say, well, you know, you're not supposed to feel that way. But who is anybody to tell you how you're supposed to feel? No one, right? Now, they can try to encourage you to think more positively or to look on the bright side, right? And it's completely up to you, because in the end, your mind is your greatest strength and your greatest asset. Nobody's going to think like the way you think. So, yeah. So let's get into it, you know? Let's get into these numbers. So here they are. They're in no particular order. I'm just going to go by how I feel. So, number one, groom yourself, right? It seems like a very obvious one, but it's amazing how much of a difference, like when you take a shower, when you take care of yourself, when you throw on some lipstick, when you put on anything that makes you feel good, right? It's not about looking proper. It's not about looking stylish. It's not about any of that. If that's how you want to feel, that's fine. If you want to label it and it makes you feel better, that's completely fine too. But understand that at the end of the day, if you throwing on a sweater, you throwing on a cap, lipstick, I'm using myself as a reference if you guys notice, that's all that matters with your self-confidence. You know what I mean? Nobody can take that from you. Essentially, it's when you come to that realization that you're the only one that can take away your confidence. You're the only one that can take away any of those things. You have the power to just pretty much dig yourself out of that tombstone. But there have been days where I've completely turned my mood around by just, throwing on something that I typically would have never worn. Maybe it broke out of my comfort zone and I was like, hey, let me just throw this on and maybe it'll make me feel good. And then bam, next thing you know,
here I am, feeling and looking all good.
But yeah, that's definitely number one, groom yourself. Number two, dress nicely, right? So if you dress nicely, you'll feel good about yourself. You'll feel successful, presentable, and ready to tackle the world, right? And again, it all goes, it has nothing to do with how much something costs. But if it makes you happy, that's fine. You want to put on you want to wear $1,000 pair of shoes and that helps with your self-esteem, that makes you feel more confident, then so be it, But start little, Start by just dressing nicely, dress presentable and respectable, Number three. Now, I know I see this a lot out there. Some people tend to Photoshop themselves. Some people tend to throw on filters. Now, while there isn't anything wrong with that, there is also something completely wrong with that, because when we throw an insane amount of filters over our photos or videos, whatever you choose to do, the fact is that you're pretty much programming your brain to see yourself in a certain way, which is not realistic, because that's not how you really look. So the more and more you do this, the harder it is to become, to accept yourself for exactly how you are, for exactly the way you look. Because that's one of the things with becoming more confident and building up your self-esteem, is realizing that you are who you are and that you are not going to change otherwise. Like, that's just the way you were born, and you have to be able to look at yourself in the mirror every day and just love yourself as is. Number four, think positive. Now, I know what you guys are probably thinking, Vanessa, but it's just so hard. No, I know it's not. It's really not that hard. So one of the things I learned a long time ago is that I can actually change my thoughts. Like, who would have known, right? And if you would have told me way back when, like way back, like let's rewind 15 years back, that I would have been able to change the way that I think with, like, especially if I was thinking negative thoughts, if you would have told me that I would have been able to replace all that by just, actually thinking it, and by doing that, great things started to happen to me. I know, who would have known, right? But with this tiny little skill, I was able to train my mind. So, and I was able to see that by training my mind to think more positively, to start taking action with that, is that it actually started to happen for me. And I was able to see the goodness inside of me, and it actually worked. So I'm just saying, think positive. Just give it a shot. Right when you start feeling yourself having these crippling thoughts of yourself, of everything that you are not, think about everything that you are. Think about what you have accomplished in your life, even if it's little tiny things. Think about those things. Number five, this one sounds a bit aggressive, okay? Now don't shame me for this, but kill negative thoughts, okay? It goes hand in hand with the above thing I just mentioned right now. So it's so important that I made it and I separated an item, that I separate them. You have to learn to be aware of your self-talk, right? You have to be aware about that. You have to, know about yourself and what you're doing. Sometimes this can be hard to recognize. It can be hard to recognize your own negative self-talk sometimes. And, I would just imagine this. So I would imagine that the negative talk was just something that, I don't know, what's something that we can think of here? I don't know. What could, think of something that you've always wanted to have. Okay, sorry. I was just trying to think of here. How can I, okay, so imagine your negative talk. Have you guys ever seen those rooms where you go and you smash everything to bits? Everything's made out of glass, wood. You can go in there with a bat and you break stuff in there. So imagine you're in there with those thoughts and you just go in there and you just smash it every time that you caught one of those negative thoughts. You just like blunder it. You just smash it to little tiny pieces. I know it sounds a little overkill, but it's true. Mentally, this is what you have to do. You have to say, no, you're not about to take over my thought process. You are not about to take over my life.
And you just not.
And just As soon as you do that, as soon as you kill that negative thought, try to replace it immediately with something that's really good in your life, something that makes you happy. And, just, tell yourself, come on, I could do this, I only got one left, or I don't have any more negative thoughts left, something like that. Just give it a shot. Number 6, get to know yourself. So when going into battle, right? Let's just hope that we don't go into battle anytime soon. But when you go into the battle, the wisest general learns to know his enemy very, very well. So when you're trying to overcome a negative self-image and replace it with self-confidence to boost your self-esteem, your enemy is yourself. I know, that was deep. But it's true, you have to know yourself. You have to know what you're going to pull out of the bag so that you can continue feeling that way. Start listening to your thoughts. Start writing a journal about yourself. All the thoughts that you have about yourself, and analyze why you have such negative thoughts. And I know that it probably will feel uncomfortable at first, because it does. A lot of the times, whenever I was having like any issues as I was growing up, or whenever I was a relationship ended in my previous I was gonna say previous lifetime, but it feels like that, right? When you it's been many, many years. But so, think about the good things about yourself, the things that you can do well, the things you like. Start thinking about your limitations and whether they're real limitations or just ones that you've allowed to place there in your head. Dig deep within yourself and you'll come out eventually. Trust me when I say, when you do come out eventually, you're going to come out of there even with a greater self-confidence and your esteem. You're just going to feel it. People are going to vibe. People are going to see that, because it's going to be organic. It's going to be natural. You're not going to be somebody that you're not. It's just a good feeling. It's a good feeling to just be yourself. And if people don't like it, well, shit, they know where they can get off. You know what I'm saying? Number 7, act positive. I know we just talked about this a little bit ago, but more than just thinking positive, which is what I just mentioned previously, you have to put it into action. Action actually is the key to developing self-confidence, right? So if you want to just have a better, why do I keep doing this? You want to have a better self-esteem. It's one thing to learn to think positive, but when you start acting on it, you change yourself. You change yourself. You take control. You're just like, you ever seen, no, it's probably not, I don't want to say this because all the vegans are going to kill me, but I mean, when I was a child, let's just go back to, because, they can't yell at me if I start saying, when I was a child. Glad I didn't know any better. But when I was a kid, and I used to see the cowboys and they were just like, Yeah, that's what I mean. You change yourself, you take action, that's what I mean. And you are what you do. And so if you change what you do, you change what you are.
Ooh. Did it just get hot in here, or is this thick ass sweater I'm wearing?
Act in a positive way. Take action instead of telling yourself you can't, right? Because I know I've talked about this in previous podcasts, and you can go watch those. Is that it's so easy for us to say we can't do it. It's too hard. Like, let's go back. Let's come back another day. Nah, 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 nah. That was so annoying. Talk to people in a positive way. Put energy into your actions, and you'll soon start to notice a difference. Eventually. Number 8, be kind and generous. Oh, so corny, right? I know. So corny. If this is too corny for you, move on. But for the rest of you, the rest of you out there, know that being kind to others and generous with yourself and your time and what you have is a tremendous way to improve your self-image, right? So this could be many areas. You could be generous in so many ways, where you're being kind to your neighbor, or you're doing work for the community, or you're doing work in the church. It doesn't matter. There's so many areas where you can be kind and you can be generous. And eventually you're going to start to feel good about yourself. And to think that you're a good person, it does wonders for your self-confidence. Believe me, it does. And eventually that's just going to send your self-esteem up through the roof. People won't even be able to touch you. Just be ping, 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 ping-ponging off of you. Number 9, get prepared. I cannot emphasize this enough. It's hard to be confident in yourself if you don't think you'll do well at something. Most of the time is, beat that feeling by preparing yourself as much as possible, right? So think about if you're going to study something, or if you're, you're kind of doubting your abilities for something, you will be much more confident about anything, whatever it is, wherever you're trying to go in life, if you just be more prepared for it. And you're going to feel prepared yourself, so you're not going to have that self-doubt kind of just simmering inside of you and just sucking the life out of you. Number 10, know your principles and live them. So what are the principles in which your life are built upon? If you don't know, you'll have trouble, because your life will feel just like it has no direction, right? I have principles. I have things that are important to me. I have aspirations of where I'm trying to go. So it doesn't feel like it did maybe like a long time ago when I thought I had things figured out, and I felt like I was just going in so many directions and I just couldn't pinpoint, and you feel so lost. So based on that, for myself, I try to live that golden rule, and I fail often, This is my key principle, and I try to live my life in accordance with it. I have others, but they're mostly in some way related to this rule. So one of my major exceptions being to live my passion and think about my principles, right? So you might have them, but perhaps you haven't given them much thought. Now think about whether you actually live these principles, and if you just believe in them, but just don't act on them. So number 11. Something that I struggle sometimes on camera. Speak slowly. Number 11. Such a simple thing, right? Such a simple thing, but it can have a big difference in how other people perceive you. So a person with authority speaks slowly. It shows confidence. A person who feels that he isn't worth listening to will speak quickly. Don't mind me, I'm just a fast speaker. Because he or she doesn't want to keep others waiting on something not worthy of listening to. I think one of the reasons why I speak fast is because I know that a lot of people out there have a very short attention span. So let's hope that changes in the future, though. If you don't feel the confidence of someone who speaks slowly, try doing it a few times. It will make you feel more confident, of course. Don't take it to an extreme, but just don't sound too rushed either. Number 12, stand tall. So, from now on, I'm always telling myself I tend to have a horrible posture. I never lean back on anything, So it will sound hypocritical for me to give this advice, but I know it works because sometimes I try it often. I try to sit correctly and stuff like that, or lean back on something so my back isn't hunched over due to, electronic devices or being on the computer or being at a desk. But I do try it often. And when I remind myself to stand tall and straight, I feel better about myself when I stand up straight and I stand up tall, because it shows confidence in yourself. Sometimes I imagine there's a rope that's kind of just pulling at my head and just kind of forcing me to stand up straight. Plus, as a side thing, people who tend to stand tall and confident are just naturally more attractive, And who doesn't want to be more attractive? That's a good thing any day in my book. So, number 13, increase competence. So how do you feel more competent, right? By becoming more competent. I don't know what else to say. How do you do that? By studying, practicing, just do small bits at a time. If you want to be more competent writer, for example, don't try to tackle the entire profession all at once, practice. I've been writing since before I was 15. So that's a long time. Just begin to write more. Start a journal, a blog, write a short story, do some freelance writing. The more you write, the better you'll be. Set aside 30 minutes a day to write, whether it just be about yourself, for example, and the practice will increase your confidence, because you're going to feel really good about how far you've come, how much you've improved in a certain aspect of your life, whether it just be writing. It builds up in all areas of your life, because you will start to say to yourself, well, I'm doing this one thing right, and I've gotten considerably better at it. Number 14, set a small goal and achieve it. Right? People often make the mistake of shooting for the moon, right? Everybody just wants to get the whole pie all at once. And then when they fail, they get discouraged.
Right? They're like, I don't want to do this shit no more. I'm tired of it. I'm just tired. I'm tired.
Instead, shoot for something more achievable, right? Set a goal you know you can achieve. Only you would know what that is, you know? And achieve that. The more you achieve small goals, the better you'll be at it. You know, because you'll know that you kind of have a whole bag full of marbles of goals that you've achieved already. And soon you're just going to feel better, and you'll be because of the confidence that you've built from doing so many small goals, that you're going to want to go for something bigger and better, because your confidence and your self-esteem at this point has already gone bigger and better. So you know that you can achieve this, because you're like, I've done about a good 1,000 of these small goals. Now I'm ready for the big bang, you know? Number 15, change a small habit. Ooh, boy, this is a good one, let me tell you. Not a big one like quitting smoking, just a small one like writing things down or waking up 10 minutes earlier. Or drinking a glass of water when you wake up. Something small that you know you can do. Do it for a month. When you've accomplished it, you'll feel like $1,000,000, right? Or you could do what I did. Get an app to lock your phone out from a certain time to a certain time, so that you can really get shit done. Number 16, focus on solutions. If you're a complainer or focus on problems, change your focus now. Change it now. Focusing on solutions instead of problems is one of the best things you can do for your confidence and your career. So if you say to yourself, I'm fat and lazy, so how can you solve that? That's something that you keep constantly telling yourself, how are you going to focus on a solution? But I can't motivate myself. So how can I solve that? Well, but I have no energy. So what's your solution for that? What are you going to do for that? That's where you have to figure out, what are you going to do to focus on the solution to your problem, so that you can begin to build the confidence and begin to build the self-esteem. Number 17, smile. Another trite one, but it's good to try it every now and then, you know, even if it's fake. Fake it till you make it, right? But it works. I feel instantly better when I smile, and it helps me to be kinder to others as well. A little tiny thing that can have a chain reaction. Not a bad investment of your time and energy, to be honest, you know? And it's been like that. You know, I used to see my dad growing up just smile at people walking by, and then they would just start glowing. They would just look so good, you know? And I'm like, wow, I want to do that. I want to do that one day. Number 18, volunteer. Related to the be kind and generous thing that I've mentioned before, to be more specific, it's the holiday season right now, so can you find the time to volunteer for a good cause? Spread some holiday cheer, maybe, to make the lives of other people better. It'll be some of the best time you've ever spent, and an amazing side benefit is that you'll feel better about yourself instantly. Number 19, I mention this often, be grateful. So I'm a firm believer in gratitude, you know. I try to be grateful for anything that I have, whether it be my pillow, whether it be a cup, you know, whether it's just you being able to have a device to be able to communicate with people, this camera that I'm recording and getting to talk to you guys with and educate other people and help other people out, and doing what I love. That's gratitude right there. When I say in the beginning of my videos that I'm just grateful for you guys being here, I fucking mean it. So, but I put it here because while being grateful for what you have in life, for what others have given you, is very humbling activity. So it can also be very positive and a rewarding activity that will improve your self-image. Number 20. Exercise. I know you guys are like, there's no way she's going to get through 25 of those things and she's not going to mention exercise. Well, you're right. Okay. That's something that just builds your self-esteem up and your self-confidence through the ceiling. Sorry about that, you guys. I was getting a call. So gosh, I mean, I seem to put this one almost on every list every time I'm doing a podcast, but if I left it off this list, I would be doing you a disservice, to be honest. So exercise has been one of the most empowering activities in the last couple years, and it has made me feel so much better about myself. All you have to do is take a walk a few times a week and you'll see benefits. Just start that habit. Number 21, empower yourself with knowledge. This one is so good. You know how good it feels to tell you guys that I've read a book in less than a week? That is a big accomplishment. Some people can't read a book in a month, in a couple months, in a year, and we've just strayed away from that. We rely on going to our social media outlets. We rely on going to Google for information when we could just build our stamina in our brain. You know, go and search for information that is more specific instead of just branching out to all these different places and just overexerting our brain and exhausting ourselves and our eyes and everything mentally, which is not good for your health. It's not good for your self-confidence or your self-esteem at all. So empowering yourself in general is one of the best strategies for building self-confidence. You can do that in many ways, but one of the surest ways to empower yourself is through knowledge, right? So this is along the same vein as building confidence and getting prepared, right? By becoming more knowledgeable, you'll be more confident in yourself. And you become more knowledgeable by doing research and studying, okay? The internet is a great tool, of course, but so are the people around you. People who have done what you want, books, magazines, and educational institutions. Number 22, do something that you've been procrastinating on. I used to be the biggest procrastinator. Now I'm learning that when I get things done that I've been procrastinating on, I feel so good. My confidence is through the fucking roof. Why? Because I know that I've been holding this off because of this fear, because I'm like, oh man, like, oh, and like just this, you just put up this wall and you try to make all these excuses for yourself. Look, we're about to enter into 2021. You don't have time for this shit no more. You've done this, you've been here, you've lived this already before. So it's time to move the fuck on. Okay? So what's on your to-do list that's been sitting there for some time? Has it been sitting there since the beginning of 2020? If it has, I highly suggest that you start on it today. Okay? Do it first thing in the morning and get it out of the way. And trust me when I say that you will feel great about yourself. Number 23, get active. So doing something is almost always better than not doing anything at all. Of course, we know that. But doing something that could lead to mistakes, but mistakes are part of life, right? You can't avoid mistakes. I used to be afraid of making mistakes, afraid of like that weight of that mistake on me. But you know what? Every single bad mistake that has happened in my life has led me to where I am now, and I am grateful for those mistakes. Can you say the same? I hope so. So without mistakes, we'd never get better, and that's the truth. And why would you want that for yourself? Why would you want to live that kind of life where you're not improving, where you're not moving forward? Why would you want to get stuck in the back? Just do something and get off your butt and get active, right? I don't know what else to say. Physically, you're active by taking steps to accomplish something that you've always wanted to do. Number 24, work on small things. What do I mean by that? Try to take on a huge project or task can be overwhelming and daunting at times. I get it. It's happened to me before and I've tried to procrastinate and put it off. Even the best of us, instead, learn to break off small chunks and work it into bursts, you know? Small little achievements make you feel so good and they add up, like I was mentioning before, and they turn into big achievements in the long run. So learn to work like this all the time and soon you'll be a self-confident maniac. Number 25, clear your desk. This might seem like a small, simple thing. Then again, some of you, it might not be so small. But it has always worked wonders for me. If my desk starts to get messy and the world around me is in chaos, clearing off my desk is a way of getting a little piece of my life under control. I know, right? Seems crazy. I do it to my room. I do it to any place where I can visually see because it just makes me feel better. I really hope that any of the things that I mentioned here have kind of just helped you. And you know what? I decided that I was going to share. I'll just go ahead and share with you guys why I had this life kind of eye-opening situation. So about a week ago, I went to the doctors. I'll explain to you guys soon, like why, you know, I've been going to the doctors and why I will be going to the doctors more and more. But for now, I'll tell you what happened. So I was sitting in the doctor's office, and this is a true story. So I was sitting there, and there's a gentleman to my right, there's a gentleman to my left. The gentleman to my left is just scrolling through his phone the whole time. The gentleman to my right was also scrolling through his phone. But I also noticed that he had 2 other devices with him. I'm just staring at them because I had my phone in my backpack because I just wanted to focus on myself and the fact of why I was there in the first place. As I'm sitting there, I noticed the gentleman on the right has 3 phones in total and he has them stacked sitting next to him. And his phone keeps going off, alerting him, beeping. The standard iPhone text alert is just going off and going off. The guy on the left, swiping. I'm sitting there watching them. I realized quite a few things. For one, they had no idea that I was watching them. They had no idea that I was staring at them. Now, I wasn't judging them, but you know what? Something about them actually helped me realize something. They helped me realize that that's not the kind of life I want to live when I get older. These were two older gentlemen. I want to make sure that I experienced the life around me way more in depth, and that I'm always aware of my surroundings. Not to say that you're not aware of your surroundings when you're looking down at your phone. You're not aware that you're in a certain area, but you're also not 100%, because like I've mentioned in previous podcasts, us humans, whether we think we are or not, we are not made to multitask. And so based on that fact alone, I know for a fact that they were not there with me. And just, I don't know, so many things came to my mind, and I realized that I could be doing so much more with my time, and I could be investing my energy and just getting to really go further in life where I want to go. And so based on that, that's when I was like, you know what? I want to go back to reading books like the way I did when I was a child. And I got labeled a bookworm, and there's absolutely nothing wrong with that. But you know what? I felt happier in my life when I was reading, when I was gaining more knowledge. And, I'm not wasting my time on other stuff, like straight up. Sometimes being online is literally a waste of fucking time. And the fact that we would make an excuse and say, no, we need this, we need that. No, I don't. And I guarantee you the people that have made it and in higher places, the people that are highly successful, I highly doubt that those people are online giving their time away hour after hour or minute after minute, whether it's 10 minutes, 5 minutes at a time responding. I had to say, you know what? I'm going to treat myself like a business, because that's the way I want to treat myself. And that's the truth. My time is valuable, and I can't just be giving it away like candy, just throwing it into the air, because that's not fair. The people that don't understand that, that's very unfortunate. But for the people that do, I really appreciate you. I really appreciate you being there for me and still being there for me no matter what. I really hope that something I said here today really made you just say, you know what, man? It's time for me to get my self-confidence back. It's time for me to build my self-esteem up again. And I'm ready to be me and show the world who I really am, because I'm tired of just hiding myself here behind the curtain. I'm ready to just glow up. 2021, show yourself, because you know what? The world is experiencing a ginormous ass shift, and we need you. We need you to be at your 100%. We need you to be at your best. We need you to be confident. We need you to show us who you truly are, because I guarantee you that you're not going to make it. You're not going to really make it to where you want to go if you do not break down those walls. Like I mentioned in previous podcasts, you got to break those walls down, and you got to just begin to take these steps to build up your confidence again, to build up your self-esteem, so that you're not back there just dwindling away your beauty, your talent, all of those things that the world and society needs to see. Started losing my voice there for a second. Thank you guys so much. If anything I said here today really helped you out, please feel free to email me at peopletalknow@hotmail.com, and just reach out to me. Don't be afraid. I'll always respond back. And if you have any questions regarding today's show, or maybe an upcoming show, you have some ideas, again, feel free to email me, and I'll respond back to you, because I love it when you guys send me ideas of topics that you say, hey, Vanessa, you need to be talking about this. This is very important. This is happening right now. And let me know. So as always, you guys know that I like to leave every show with a joke and a word of the day, because I like you guys leaving with a little bit of laughter and a little bit of humor. Why I feel like I'm scrunching my face up. But yes, I like you guys leaving with a little bit of laughter and a little bit of humor, because, I like you guys leaving with a new word to build up your vocab, and a joke just, to make you laugh a little bit. So let's go ahead and start with today's word of the day. Today's word of the day is
gelid.
Gelid. Gelid is spelled G-E-L-I-D. The definition is extremely cold and icy. Gelid first appeared in English late in the 16th century, coming to our language from Latin gelidus, which ultimately derives from the noun gelu, meaning frost or cold. The noun gelatin, which can refer to an edible jelly that undergoes a cooling process as part of its formation, comes from the related Latin word gelare, meaning to freeze. Gelid is used to describe anything of extremely cold temperature, as in the gelid waters of the Arctic Ocean. But the word can also be used figuratively to describe a person with a cold demeanor, as in the criminal's gelid stare. So there you go. There's the word gelid. Go out and use it in a sentence. Hashtag people talk now and let me know how you would use it in a sentence. So yes, so the joke of the day is called procrastination. It's a very short one. So my mother said, you won't amount to anything because you procrastinate. And I said, just wait. So there you go. That's the joke of the day. I hope it made you guys laugh. And as always, thank you guys so much, for listening to today's podcast and just being here with me. And if you liked this show so far, do not forget to give it a huge thumbs up, okay? Because that means a lot. And also do not forget to share this video with your friends, your loved ones, anybody you know. Just share and spread the word, okay? Because we are trying to grow. And most importantly, do not forget to subscribe on your way out, okay? Do not. And most importantly, do not forget to hit that bell notification that's down here below, because every time you, the listener and the watcher, hit that bell notification right there, yeah, that one. That's right, it lets you know when I post my face on YouTube. So yes, thank you guys so much for watching. And as always, you guys, have a kick-ass Wednesday. Bye.